Thank you, first of all, for having me with you today to have a conversation on the trends in the retail industry. Very happy to be here. My name is Sandeep Batra, and I'm the CHRO for Landmark Group in India. Been here since about last 18 months, enjoying the ride. And prior to this organization, I worked for about 14 years with Vodafone, both prior to the merger, which is Vodafone India, and after the merger, which is Vodafone Idea. And did about different roles. My last role was the head of HR for technology and B2B business. Happy to be here. Yeah. So, the pandemic really has forced the industry to adopt to new shifts of demographics for attitudes and consumer preferences. One of the significant changes which you've seen, which actually happened though pre-COVID, but just accelerated, is the rise of the omni-channel model, right? Which is that the brick and mortar, while it continues to sustain, develop well, specifically in the larger cities, but also it is giving a lot of space to now a hybrid model, which is a mix of BM, the brick and mortar, and online. And e-commerce, of course, is expected to grow, which may lead to the brick and mortar model to be slightly resized. So brick and click is the way forward. That's one clear trend really coming through. The second trend really is about customer-centric approach. Obviously nothing new, but then all these things are getting accelerated. How as organizations, we always keep consumer at the heart of whatever we do, or the center of whatever we do, really cannot be overemphasized. And this approach is going to continue to drive growth and also give progress in the market. And hence, the brands which continue to listen to the customer more and pick up the relevant insights shall keep growing, is the clear trend which is coming across. The third trend which clearly we see, or I see, is really about the rise of the experiential retail. The focus is really shifting from product selling to customer engagement. That's becoming more and more relevant. And tools like virtual reality, augmented reality will give rise to or give more clout to help brands add new experience to the customer and give along with the traditional or existing methods which the companies have. These are the three things I really see shifting in the or the trends in the industry. This seems to be a decade of disruption, with COVID just being a opener, I think, in this whole thing. And I think by 2025, we should be kind of at the fag end of the pandemic in terms of its impact. Pandemic should go early, but its impact could well be till about 2025. What I clearly see in 2025, if you were to ask me, is a blended retail experience, which is likely to be on the rise, which means a richer range of experience by blending retail, music, entertainment could be on the cards, and so a lot of companies are trying to make shopping more experiential.
Correct.
Second thing is really which is definitely going to happen is a very strong convergence between traditional retailing and online retailing, very clearly coming through. And third clear trend coming through is really the customer expectation. Will rule really what industry as a retail does. There is going to be hyper personalization trend, which is we could see more retailers delivering white glove service in a more digital way to the customers. Customer loyalty through superior service is going to be on the rise for sure. And hyper personalization and attracting customers through that to sustain offers or sustain, are going to be really the keys in 2025. See, I don't think priorities have changed to a large extent. It's got reprioritized, I would say. However, if you ask me a question in terms of what leaders are really prioritizing, I would say number one area is really about organization well-being. And I think this is something which is, we all have realized, it was somewhere on the back burner, but really has come to the forefront. And I believe this is going to be a one game changer, whether when you attract talent, retain talent, or really, run an organization. This is going to be a very, very strong pillar. And pandemic has really shown, that outcome-based goals and quality are now trying to supersede the number of hours of work. Mental and physical well-being and emotional well-being have become a top priority for organizations, and there are examples which we have seen now. So I would see a more well-being based organization ways of working, a more flex in the processes and policies, and larger empathy, I would see, from a leaders in terms of their working style. Second thing I clearly see business leaders doing more of is really accelerating investments in technology and digital growth. And of course, it's not that it was not a priority before the pandemic, it is just accelerated again. Priority has become number one. So as I was talking about omni-channel model of business and managing customer experience digitally, all this will necessitate a larger investments into our technology and digital growth very clearly. And third, I think the biggest change which I see coming through from a leader's point of view is that the purpose of the leaders really has become more stronger. Purpose has become at the core of whatever we are doing, and we've gone through a very separate, a very difficult phase, the industry as such. And during this course, everybody started to think whether we will survive through this. What is going to happen through COVID? When people don't walk in the stores. But I think the value system, the purpose of each company has really is become more stronger. The conviction has built more sharper, and that's what has carried them through this difficult times. And I think that that purpose has become more stronger now. Yeah. So I would like to share one moment with you, which I cherish it really. So this is quite recent, about 4 years back in 2017, when the merger between two giant telecom companies, that is Vodafone and Idea, was announced. And I was appointed as the HR lead to see through the whole, merger, the people integration of this merger. And amazing moment for me. I think it really summed it up for me in terms of the learnings I had in the organization for the decade, the trust which I had really gained of my business leaders, and also, being mentored by some of the top class senior people in the organization, a testimony to that. And the challenge was obviously big from point of view of harmonizing culture of two very different companies, integration process, talent selection of almost about 20,000 plus people in about 9 months' time, and it took an effort of a very high caliber, to not only manage stakeholders, senior management for both the companies, but also keeping the employees' experience at the heart of everything what we were doing. Seamless communication plans, every week going out to people and saying what's really happening. And of course, parallelly also understanding the best practices from the market as well, to make sure, all goes as per the plan, everybody's informed, all stakeholders engaged, and nothing really goes out of the, out of timelines. And 9 to 12 months of really hard work and sustain has really yielded a very perfect people integration, and that's really I call as a very proud project or a moment of my life. A company trusting me with such a gigantic project, and then I stepping in and making sure that it is delivered in time and with a lot of quality. There are no secrets to the success, as far as I have really believed in a couple of mantras, all of my life, and whatever success I've gained is all due to that. Number one is that there is no substitute for understanding of business. Whatever role all of us do in whatever capacities as business leaders or HR leaders or commercial leaders, I think there is no substitute for understanding a business. So the more we dirty our hands to understand the business, and really make sure that even if when we grow in hierarchies, we don't lose touch of what's happening in the last mile, really helps a lot to make sure that you're doing the right thing, the relevant things to, for the business. Second really is about building positive relationships, and it's really the ability of the balancing results with a concern for the need of the people really is really the key. You really cannot be HR really cannot be really like numbers and saying I've delivered numeric basis, at the same time not really feeling for what employees need. So it's a very thin balance, but you got to maintain that balance. That's number two. And third, a very personal journey, I would say, of my own leadership style, how I have been able to flex my style in terms of my coaching style of leadership, as well as a pace setting, empowering style. And really, it really depends on what was your team composition. It's really about the art of making sure that you trust your team, and people who really are your go-getters, you give them more empowerment, while you spend more time people who are lagging behind, so that you make sure that the team moves together. That's have been some of the my personal insights on my secret of success. I have worked with some of the very finest leaders, I must say. So ranking them in order would be very unfair. But yeah, Ashok Ramchandran, really a mentor, a great leader to work with. Dr. Santrup Mishra, Mr. Sunil Sood, the CEO for Vodafone. And then, of course, before I moved in, Mr. Roy Chaudhary, all have really played a good part in terms of really grooming and mentoring and seeing what I am today. So really can't express my gratitude much, but yes, my only way of giving back to them is just I continue what they taught me, and I take the legacy forward. That's what I can say. So my advice would be number one, agility is what I would advise them, and by agility I mean learning agility. Always that ability to unlearn and relearn to stay relevant to whatever they do is so very important, because industry is changing at such a rapid pace. Every 3 to 4 years, the whole dynamics of industry change. How do we keep up pace with that? By unlearning and relearning is really the key. So that's one advice I would like to give. Second is really be bold. And bold doesn't mean always, to be chivalrous. It's also about your risk-taking abilities, and also your passion of what you believe in has to be very strong. Third really is about customer focus, and I don't think there is any substitute for that. Always understand the art of persona, or the art of design thinking, and make sure whatever you do, you keep the customer at the center and make sure you do the right thing. And fourth really is about digitally savvy. The world is becoming digital, the economy is becoming digital, the ways of working are becoming digital. You can't stay out of it. So make sure that you have your own piece of digital in your life. It's not really about hooking on to your mobile phones the whole day, but also seeing how technology is making impact in our lives. We have to be tech savvy in today's world to make sure that we stay put, or really, stay relevant to what we are doing.